Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a concept you've probably heard honestly countless times, but maybe haven't fully dismantled to see its inner workings. We're exploring the layered, progressive meaning of being a child of God. By mapping out this really fascinating series of scriptural interconnections, we're going to see how this identity isn't just some static label, but a very dynamic journey.
If you spend literally any time on social media, you've definitely seen these acronyms, COG, MOG, or WOG. You know, they're slapped onto Instagram bios, right next to the little coffee cup emojis, printed on aesthetic clothing, and just casually dropped in conversation. But we really need to pause for a second and contrast this casual modern usage against the heavy, profound biblical weight the phrase actually carries. It's a weight that simply cannot be reduced to a trendy hashtag.
So that brings us to a central question. The starting point that really kicks off our entire narrative today. What does it actually mean to be a child of God? Well, to answer that, we've got to look far past those surface-level definitions. We're going to observe how one verse perfectly unlocks the next, revealing this incredibly unified pattern.
All right, here is our agenda for today. First, we'll look at the weight of the label. Second, realm 1, outward recognition. Third, realm 2, legal authority. And finally, realm 3, spirit-led.
Section 1. The weight of the label, beyond the bio. So we're looking at three distinct realms here, and there's a fascinating pattern we need to grapple with. It moves chronologically. First, you have an outward manifestation in Matthew, then a foundational legal right in John, and finally, it all culminates in active spiritual living detailed in Romans. Let's see how these build on one another.
Moving to Section 2. Realm 1. Outward recognition.
Our exploration kicks off with Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. In this first realm, outward actions are absolutely paramount. When peace and reconciliation are actively sought after by you, well, people notice. It actually causes others to recognize and refer to you as God's child, based entirely on your visible character. The real crucial point here is that a consistent behavioral trait speaks way louder than words. By portraying the fruit of peace that only Christ can give, and that's referencing John 14:27, you're allowing others to clearly see your identity before you even open your mouth to announce it. It's an identity proven through your presence.
Okay, Section 3, Realm 2, legal authority.
Now, let's peel back that layer of outward behavior to look behind the scenes. John 1:12 declares, "But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name." Just by believing and receiving, there's this automatic avenue to a right standing with God. It requires absolutely no works first. It is purely an invitation to authority.
This is beautifully defined as the right to become. It's a powerful assurance of your legal standing, which, frankly, is incredibly comforting for new believers. But, and here's the vital caveat, having a right means that the right must eventually be exercised. Because of that, believing and receiving is super powerful, but it's still not a finality.
And that brings us to Section 4, Realm 3, spirit-led. This brings us to the ultimate core. Romans 8:14 states, "For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are sons of God." This acts as a vital, completely necessary extension to the legal standing we just talked about. Believing and receiving is necessary, yes, for sure, but it's not sufficient all on its own.
I want you to really notice the theological shift happening here. We're moving from simply believing and receiving over to actively being led by. We transition from merely accepting a legal status to actively being guided by the Spirit. That means bearing those former ways of sin so that walking according to the Spirit literally becomes second nature. You're no longer subject to the bondage of the flesh.
To make this perfectly clear, let's think about the unopened gift analogy. Imagine you receive a beautifully wrapped present. You can acknowledge the gift, accept it, say thank you, right? That's realm 2. But if you just put it on a shelf to collect dust and fail to actually open and use it, you're missing the entire point. Believing in something without living by it is just holding on to an unopened box.
To firmly ground this concept, let's look at that famous story in Luke chapter 10 of Jesus visiting Mary and Martha. Martha makes the undeniably good choice to open the door of her home to Christ. She welcomes him in. But then she gets all swept up in distractions. Mary, on the other hand, makes him the absolute center, choosing to sit and learn at his feet.
Let's break down why this perfectly mirrors our realms. Martha opened the door. That's realm 2.
She received Christ into her home, but, tragically, she kind of just left him at the entrance. Mary moved into realm 3. By laying at his feet, she centered him as Lord. Opening the door receives Christ, but centering him makes you a true heir to his glory. It's that critical transition from basic receiving to active, surrendered living.
So, to truly embody this profound identity, we arrive at a beautiful paradox. To be a mature child of God, you actually have to be like a little child. It requires two things: the faith to simply reach out and receive the gift, combined with the daily humility to actually open it, be led by it, and live by it.
I want to leave you with this provocative thought today. Look at your own life and the realms we've just unpacked. Are you just holding the unopened gift, resting solely on your legal right? Or are you actively exercising that right, surrendering daily to be led by the Spirit? It's a question that challenges us all to step out of the bio and into the reality of divine sonship. Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer, and keep actively seeking that growth.